We're going to be doing h index. So the question is, given an array of integers, citations, where each index within citations is the number of citations a researcher received on the ith paper, and we want to return the researcher's h index. So then they give a definition of what an h index is. H index is defined as the maximum value h such that the given researcher has published at least h papers that have received at least h citations. So the main difficulty within this question is understanding what h citations are, or h indexes. So let's go over this example and try to understand what they mean. So we know the h index for this is 3 because the output over here is 3. So the question is, how do they compute this? So the definition says h index is the maximum value h such that the researcher has published at least h papers that have at least h citations. So to figure out how many papers have at least some number of citations, it makes sense to order this array. So we can order this 0, 1, 0, 1, 5, 0, 1, 3, 5, 6, and then we can try to compute a h index. So the reason we order this is because at this index we know there are 3 remaining papers that have at least that have citations that are equal to or greater than 1. So that have at least 1 citation. So the h index at this index would be 3 because we have 3 papers with at least 1 citation, or 1 itself, because it says that have been cited at least h times. So h here would be 1, and then h here would be 3. So the question is, how can we compute the maximum h index? So obviously we know that sorting is very helpful here because it allows us to easily compute how many papers have an index that is at least greater than the current h index. So it makes sense to start by sorting this. Then we need a variable to keep track of the h index. We can start with the h index of 0. We also need to keep track of the size of the list. Let's call it n. So now what we need to do is go through each index within this list and compute the maximum h index that's possible. So what we can do is go through the list for citation in citations. H index is equal to the maximum, since we're looking for the largest h index of whatever it is currently storing, along with the minimum of the current citation, because that would be the current h index, and how many papers use that particular, have at least that number of citations. So that would be n minus the current index. So if we enumerate this, we would have access to the current index, and then we can return h index. So the h index is the maximum of whatever h index is currently storing, along with the minimum of the citation count of the current paper, along with how many other papers have at least that many number of citations as per the definition here. So let's run the code. Okay, let's submit it. Okay, so let's do the space-time complexity. The time complexity here is O of n, because we're looping through the citations list once. And the space complexity here is O of 1, because, well, actually this time complexity is n log n, because we are sorting it, and sorting requires n log n. And then the space complexity is O of 1, because we're only storing two constants, or two integers. Cool.